What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video and a podcast. First of all, thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the YouTube channel and also on the podcast. Like, for real, your guys' support goes such a long way, and I can't even express it enough, but it like really does. I've been seeing the love and the feedback and stuff like that, and I just wanted to say, like, keep going with it. Like, I see all of it and I appreciate it a ton, and the more feedback that I get and the more love and all that good stuff, of course I'm going to be putting out even better content to show love back. So what is up, and welcome back. In today's episode, we are talking about the real reason why you're not seeing progress yet. Whether you're somebody who struggles with their health and their fitness, or you're somebody who is struggling with life, just in general, the real reason why you're not seeing progress. So today's episode is short and real. I want to talk about something that came up while I was chatting with a coach that I'm working with to help her build her own business as a fitness coach working online. She said today in our Zoom call, "I hope your clients really take your time seriously because you give a lot." And I was like, damn, thank you. That means a lot. And I really do appreciate it, but I also had to be honest about like what that actually means. Because sometimes, we're told things or, but we don't like look behind the curtain. And when I hear that stuff, it's just like, for me, I think about all the clients who I know that it's not like they're taking advantage of my time, but it's like life just gets in the way, and I'm like, fuck, like, how can I help? And like, for me, sometimes when I'm working with clients, because I've been coaching for like 5 years, but sometimes when I'm working with clients, I'm like there's a point where I can't even really help them progress to the next level, because like mentally they're just not there to do that, because then it's just like more stress. And that's something that I've noticed big time when it comes to coaching and helping people level up in life, because there are some coaches out there who coach many different things, but they're very forceful. They're like very like, you have to do this no matter what, this, that. And like, some people need that, but to an extent, I think about it like raising your kids. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand discipline, and there's a point where that has to come into play. But if it's extremely forceful and harsh, a lot of the time it backfires, because it just makes the person not want to do it anymore, at all. And so I think about it like using Jedi powers, like the Jedi mind trick of like, not fully forcing them to, do it in that way, but like giving them that room to breathe, to mentally breathe, because when you're taking on so much stress, it's almost like you can't really do much else. And so sometimes you just have to let that settle for a little bit without falling off track with where you're at right now. So again, it's not because I don't understand, it's not because I think my clients take advantage of me or anything like that, but I thought about it in the way where it's like, why do some of my clients not like fully put the work in the way that I want them to, even though the stuff I give them is completely doable? And if you're a coach watching this, that has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with them, because they're just not ready to fully make those changes, because they have so many things going on in life right now. And that's something that you have to understand, because all somebody usually needs in their life is just someone to like be there for them, like no matter what. And like, that's how I am with my clients. Because like, I get it, like life is fucking stressful. Not a lot of people have that. So if you're just another person who just like doesn't understand, if you're like just another person in their life who kind of forces things on them, then it's actually not going to help them in the long run, to a certain extent. And I feel like a lot of the discipline type things can be communicated in just kind of like a logical way versus like being forceful about it. And so here's the truth. It doesn't matter how good the plan is. Let's get back to talking about like how to be successful with goals. It doesn't matter how good the plan is. Your training, your macros, your routines, none of it matters if you're only half in. Or you can kind of phrase it like, even if you are half in, that's still something. That's still something. But if it's actually something that you can sustain, if you go all the way in, then you can truly see what your potential is. It's kind of like when I coach my clients with their training. A lot of the time, they don't see their fullest potential in terms of body transformation because they're not pushing themselves to their limits with their training or even past their limits, as in like they're not training until failure and like using every set to train until failure, but then also they're not training past failure, which is like new limits, boundary, you know what I mean? And like you gotta tap into that in order to change your body, because your body adapts. It gets used to everything that you do. And with your training, it's the best thing that you could relate yourself to when it comes to progressing in life, because in the gym, the only thing that makes your body progress is pushing into those new limits safely. And there's some other ways to approach that, but it's a good metaphor. So you can be following your plan, but you could be skipping meals. You could be binge eating on the weekends. You could be overeating. You could know what your calories and macros are, but you go outside of that by 300, 400 calories because you had like 4 shots on the weekend randomly, but didn't account for them. Like that adds up when it comes to losing body fat and actually transforming your body. But you could stay in your calories and still have that alcohol if you just learned how to track it and be a little bit more on top of it. You're doing your workouts, but you're not pushing your actual limits. You're going quiet when things feel off. And instead of reaching out and working with a coach to get help, or just reaching out in general and talking to anybody about it, you just go quiet. Listen, I get it. People fall back into old habits. Life gets busy, motivation fades. That's the normal. But the key thing that I've seen with people who have been successful and who have not been successful is they don't allow themselves to fall into those habits of like going quiet. And like, they don't let themselves go into the habit of like not trying to do better than the day before or the week before. Not, you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like dragging themselves, but it's purely out of effort. The clients that I've seen make massive changes, not just physically, but mentally, are the ones who lean in every week. And this doesn't mean like leaning into like working out 7 days a week. It means like leaning into your 3-day per week gym plan and following your meal plan and just making the most out of what's there. And that's a big thing that I've seen like with people who actually have health goals. It's like they just want to add and add and add and add and add to their plan because they think, take away the carbs, and they think that that's what's helping them because it's like going all in. That's what it looks like to them, but it's not. It's like you can still have carbs, you can still drink, you just got to learn how to fit it into your plan and stuff like that. And you work out 3-4 days a week, but it's about making the most out of what's there. So instead of just thinking about quantity more and adding more stress to your plate, think quality. What's the minimum amount of work that I can do to build muscle, build strength, accomplish my fat loss goals, and transform my life in the next 6 months to 12 months? Minimum amount of work. And follow through with that. That's the way that I like to think. Because for me, I know damn well I don't want to do more than I fucking have to. I hate doing that. It's the fucking worst. And you also drive yourself crazy. But the same goes for business. The same goes with life. But it's like, find the minimum and do it really fucking well. Like the way that it's supposed to be done. And the clients that I've coached over the years that have had crazy transformations, like they do this same thing because they get it. Like they're on the same page as me. But they communicate, they ask questions, like they try to learn more. They actually use the support that's in front of them instead of ghosting when it's hard. They push past what's comfortable, not because they're perfect, but because they decided that they want more, and they show up even when they don't want to and push harder even when they don't even have the energy to, safely. And they're willing to use resources and show up differently. And this doesn't mean that they haven't had, like even for me, it's not like I haven't had times where I've been on and off with my fitness, or I've, had crazy things happen in between that have thrown me off. Like, even right now, I'm super busy. I can only work out 4 days a week for like an hour each, you know what I mean? versus before. Like I've been through a lot with my own fitness, from like binge eating disorders, failing losing competitions, bodybuilding competitions, lots of stuff. But it's about how you move forward. You know what I mean? That's what matters the most. And if you're feeling like you're in a lull, it's about like, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to be, I think a good reminder for this is like, you're not supposed to be anywhere else than like where you are right now. And like what's happened to you has happened for a reason. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen tomorrow or next week, but what you can do is make the most out of today. And I know when you're stressed and you're in that state of mind, it's hard to take yourself out of that. For me, it is. It takes journaling and it takes meditation usually. But when you actually want to be successful with your health goals, which anybody can, like it sucks. I see so many people who are like 40, 50, 60 years old, overweight or even slightly overweight, and they don't know how to lose weight. They don't know how to train. They're scared. They don't understand how. They don't know how to properly eat. They are worried about their health later down the lines. A lot of the time they just say, fuck it. And they're just like, I'm old enough, like what am I going to do now? But dude, if you're 50, 60 years old, 40 years old, 30 years old, like you have a lot of time. Like a lot of time. And like this will drastically improve your life years on. And it doesn't have to take forever. It could take a couple years to get in shape. Maybe a year. Like what? Like it's crazy. So like, if you want to be successful, use the tools, ask for help, share what's not working, learn. The more you lean in, the more you just get out of life. Lean in when, there's a problem. Figure out what you got to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. Lean in when you're not seeing results. Figure out what you got to do to, solve that so then you can actually get results. Lean in to why you're so stressed out and why you can't manage yourself. Lean into why you're financially unstable so then you can fix that and improve that area of your life. Lean into why you're not getting clients. Fix that, get more clients. Lean into all the problems in your fucking life and you will figure out the solution. But you gotta think about these things as tasks. You gotta write them down and journal them somewhere. Otherwise, it's just you're gonna forget about them. Even for me, I journal these things. I save them in my phone journal, and just the important things to remember with things with my health, things with my finances, things with my fitness, things with my business, things with my life. I'm saving stuff all the time, just to kind of keep on top of life, because it's a lot to remember. Right? When you got things to work on for yourself and you got things to work on for stuff you're doing outside of yourself, and then relationships, and then there's lots of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's not about being perfect, but it is about definitely figuring out the things that are causing problems in your life and leaning into those. Okay? So, I mean, if you're here listening to this, I think that this is a really good sign for you to actually start to make improvements with your life. And this is the same approach that I take, because I'm not perfect. Really what I see success is just solving problems to improve your life and doing the things to improve your life, but also being the best you that you can possibly be. But a lot of the time, most people enjoy life a lot more and get more out of it when they, solve these types of problems. And so, I mean, that's it. And I think that a lot of the time, the main reasons why people don't make much progress throughout life, even with their habits and themselves, is just simply they fall back into old habits. They get quiet, they get complacent, they forget these things, but it also seems like a lot of work to them, and it's not. You just got to show up to the day with what you got on the table and just eat that. You know what I mean? That's it. And figure out whatever you got to figure out for the day, and then recoup at night for a bit, go to bed, and then tomorrow's a new day. You only have so much life in you. Life is way too short to get so complacent to where you don't improve yourself or work on things. And it doesn't take the craziest kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's not going to take you months and months. It doesn't. You could drastically improve how you feel this week, even just by implementing like what I'm telling you here. You know what I mean? You don't got to spend all your day doing it. Doesn't mean you got to cut anything out. It's just like simply solving problems, understanding yourself better, and making sure you don't let yourself kind of get quiet and weird, right? And for the ones who have seen a lot of progress with working with me in terms of fitness, I see that they also embrace that. They show up. And that's something that I also kind of have taken away from like helping a lot of people. It's just like showing up even when you don't feel like it, even if you don't sound the best, or even if like there's been so many times where I posted on my story and I'm like on Instagram and I'm just talking and I sound like I'm a fucking dud, but like that's me showing up when I'm like not doing well. You know what I mean? But you have to. And that's me proving it to myself that I'm going to show up anyways. So get the job done, show up with effort, but it doesn't mean that you need to fake how you're doing, right? And I think that's something to also take in, because if you just kind of fake it and pretend and so, it just drains you. It sucks. So it's okay if you're not doing well. Take it easy. Figure out what you got to figure out, lean into it, and just take it day by day. And that's how you build up momentum. That's how you build up some inner self-confidence. And, I hope that you figure out your fitness. If you need any help with that, just reach out and message me. Thanks again for all the love and support, you guys. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. Much love and peace out.